Last week I made a video on the 1 to 3 million dirham segment, and this week I want to touch on the 3 to 6 million dirham segment. You're obviously looking at more higher end quality properties. You're looking at more finer product. You're looking at more primer locations, more closer to the water, sea views, right next to the marina. If you probably have a yacht, you could park it there. It's just closer to the marina, closer to the beaches. You have private beach access and so on and so forth. Some great developments coming up right on the bank of the water, like Marina, JBR areas. Some options also on the Palm, as well as the beachfront island. One beds usually start here around at 3.5, 3.6 million dirhams. You'd get a square footage of about 800 to 900 square feet. You're looking at 2 bedrooms in the price point of 5.5, 5.6. You'd get a good 1500 square foot for a nice 2 bedroom overlooking the water or the sea. These are obviously more closer to Marina JBR rather than being more closer to downtown. But of course, Marina JBR has its own vibe. It's a different kind of clientele. So if somebody wanted to come and tell me that, they were looking for a property between 3 to 5 or 3 to 6 million, these are a few of the questions that I'd ask them as to make sure to give them the right property to purchase. So if they're looking for, let's say, a short-term rental where they wish to come and stay in the property for a few days in a year and let the property be on short-term rental, either managed by a company or just be in a hotel property. There's options on the Palm where the developer himself is running the property as a short-term rental for the clients, generating the income. Of course, it's not guaranteed, but they run it on a room-to-room basis, or they run it as a hotel basically. And whenever you do wish to visit the property, you have access to it for a certain number of days every year. These kind of options have been very popular in the past because it gives the investor the freedom to come and visit Dubai as and when he feels like it. Of course, keeping in mind the number of days he's allowed to stay in the property, because the hotel also has the property management company also has a commitment towards the buyer, right? That they also need to rent it out and deliver some returns back to the investor. So in this kind of situation, these properties are quite popular. A lot of tourists who don't wish to relocate but have a safe place to park their money choose this kind of a property. The fact that it's on the Palm also becomes a hotspot where a lot of tourists want to rent. So the chances of your property being rented out are a lot better than compared to other areas where you have your property listed on all the portals, but the footfall or the click rate is not as much as it is on the Palm, because obviously you have the water, a whole bunch of other attractions, restaurants, cafes, and so on and so forth. Price range for these kind of properties, you'd be spending about 3.5, 3.6 for a 1 bed, and just a little over 5 million, say 5.3, 5.4 for a decent sized 2 bed. But of course, the property would be managed by the company that is running it for you, just to make sure that you get your returns without any hassles. Between 3 and 6 million, the next option would be Beachfront Island. There you've got a new development coming up. It's right at the entrance of the island. Of course, this is catering to both, but not with the concept that it is 100% going to be rented short term, unless you give it up to a management company. You could also rent it long term, as it's a residential complex. There are 3 towers coming up right by each other, and the prices over there are around the same, 3.6, 3.7. But you've got major USPs like the cruise terminals on the beachfront island, where you'll have a lot of guests coming in every single day or every second, third day, and choosing properties to stay in which are closer to the terminal rather than further down in Marina or JBR. So this could be a great prospect as well if you're looking for putting on short-term let or even long-term to families or individuals or couples. It's probably like the new Blue Waters Island. Back in the day when Blue Waters was launched, not very many people were keen on it, but today having the limited number of buildings is what has increased its value. Of course, the quality of construction and so on and so forth. Similar concept on the beachfront island, where there is only about 25 to 27 towers. So again, Availability of properties over there are scarce or less, making it a great potential for people to want to come and rent over there. Plus, of course, you've got your views and the marina and the nice boardwalks and everything. Let me clarify why I said that you want to be closer to the water, because these are also the kind of properties. They're obviously smaller in size compared to the properties that I mentioned in my previous video. Here you have the benefit of being closer to the water, and you have better sea views and of course the other things I mentioned, like the cruise terminal and the private island and everything else. So basically what I'm trying to say is that there aren't too many options in that price point, and the one that I recommended on the beachfront island would probably be your best bet. So either you go for something like that, or you up your budget and buy a more premium property, or then you divide your money and go into some of the other options that I recommended in my previous video. I think that would be a good way to start utilizing your money and of course start building your portfolio.